In the future, anything that's not community-based will be replaced by AI or automation. Content creation, course creation, video creation, online marketing, anything that works for one creator will instantly be copied on a mass scale. If your business is dependent on what you alone can produce, no matter how brilliant or original it is, you're gonna be vulnerable. There's just no way you can outwork all the other creators out there, plus all the intelligent agents now roaming the internet. Help! Building community is the real secret. It's the secret to creating something that's bigger than yourself. It's impossible for someone else to simply copy your community. It's impossible to fake. It's impossible to automate.
Dodge this.
I believe community is the only way forward if you want to create a business that grows beyond your own efforts. In this video, you'll learn two things. First, why having a thriving community makes everything easier. And second, to make this very hands-on and practical, I'll show you exactly how I built my community using the ultimate all-in-one platform, Circle, which basically runs my entire business now. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Tiago Forte. I've been in the trenches as a creator for 10 years now. What started as a little side gig to help pay the rent has turned into a full-time career for me. When I quit my consulting job with barely any savings because I felt burned out and I wanted more fulfillment and more freedom. Every morning, I would wake up super early, like all the gurus said, and just start sprinting, trying to outrun my to-do list and check off as many tasks as I could before my head hit the pillow. After a few months of that, the result I got was I burned out again. That was the moment I had this epiphany. What if instead of trying to do everything myself, which clearly was not working, what if I instead created a community-centric business? I decided I would try to draw on the community of people who cared most about me and my work. I would draw on them as active participants in what I was creating, not just passive consumers of it. That realization, that question, led me directly to the first way that I leveraged community, which was courses. I launched my first online course in 2013 on how to implement the Getting Things Done methodology by David Allen. It was a classic pre-recorded self-paced course, which was really great for receiving passive income, but it had a little problem, which is it was lonely. I didn't get to see or interact with any of my customers at all. A few years later, when I was ready to launch my Building a Second Brain course, I knew I wanted to do things differently. Zoom had just come out. So I emailed a small group of friends and acquaintances, and I asked them to be beta testers for a live version of the new course that I would teach in real time on Zoom.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
That first tiny group eventually would grow to 50 people and then 100 until eventually, in the midst of the pandemic, I was teaching 1,000 people at a time. And I cannot wait to welcome you on our first live session in just a few short days. My community became almost like my research and development lab, a place where I could test every new crazy idea I had. I could refine different versions of my message. I could get instant feedback before putting in all the effort to launch something new. I started on Skillshare and later Teachable, but when Circle launched, I knew that the era of community-centric education was really beginning. From teaching my Building a Second Brain course over 7 years, I found that students often learn just as much from each other as from me, the instructor. We eventually even had former students become coaches and mentors and lead class sessions without me being there at all. This is actually a well-researched concept called a community of practice. It's when you have a living, dynamic network with different connections between people who have a shared identity. After teaching my course straight through the pandemic, I was feeling, once again, a little burned out. I had 2 kids now, a thriving business, I was a homeowner, and honestly, I wanted to spend more time on those things, plus my true passion, which is writing books. At the same time, I didn't want to just abandon this amazing, vibrant community that we'd spent years building. I wanted a way to keep that community going, while also making money from it so we could afford to invest in it. That was when I discovered the power of membership programs. Memberships are perfect for when a community has reached a critical mass and started to generate its own energy and its own conversation. And it really just needs a bit of a guiding hand, a little bit of structure, and some periodic events to bring people together. The best thing about memberships is they provide recurring revenue. So we launched the Second Brain membership. This membership became this thriving community where other people could contribute their own ideas, their own experiences, and often even answer each other's questions in a way that I couldn't even do myself. You can charge for a membership either through a recurring subscription or a one-time fee using the built-in checkout option. You can even add upsells that unlock new areas of your community, like a map that they get to slowly explore. Circle is completely customizable, and you decide who has access to what. When new members join, we have automations that automatically send them welcome messages. Circle now even takes care of your email marketing, allowing you to send personalized emails triggered by actions your members take inside your community. You can, of course, set up dedicated discussion spaces around certain topics for people to discuss. You can even add gamification where people climb a leaderboard and unlock special perks as they reach certain milestones. A cornerstone of our community is weekly events. We use the built-in calendar to schedule them, and there's even a way to start broadcasting live on the platform anytime. As we've run these events over the last year, I started to notice how excited people were to just be together and interact and talk. On Circle, student interaction is front and center. It's the main show. Yes, you can upload text and documents and video and audio just like any other course platform, but that's just the beginning. Your students can also share their takeaways. They can add comments right alongside the curriculum. So late last year, we started thinking about hosting our first ever live in-person event, which brings me to the third milestone in my community journey, the Second Brain Summit. For years, I've dreamt of hosting my own conference. There's really nothing like the immersion of being in the physical world, surrounded by interesting, curious, like-minded people. It was really seeing how engaged and intimate the community already was on Circle and realizing we could use the same platform to create that energy and excitement in the real world that made it all click for me. The first ever Second Brain Summit just happened in LA, and it was incredible. 200 or so people spent 2 full days sharing their experiences, learning from the speakers and from each other. Circle was the official digital companion for every single aspect of the event, from months of pre-planning beforehand to the attendee directory to the real-time agenda and organizing small group workshops, all the way through the feedback and follow-up afterwards. It was so amazing to have this kind of continuity before, during, and after the main event. The result of that continuity is that the conference was an integral part of our wider community, strengthened it, enlivened it, even for people who weren't there. Think of Circle as the community layer of your entire business. I don't care what you're doing. I'm certain it can be made better by adding a community layer and letting Circle handle all the complexity so you can focus on what you do best. If you're ready to unshackle yourself from trading time for money and build a business that leverages the power of community, click the link below and check out Circle.